Hillforts and the lost rivers of prehistoric Britain. When most people picture a hill fort, they imagine something high, dry, and defensive, a military outpost perched on a ridge built to repel enemies and dominate the land below. But what if I told you that view was not only misleading, it's archaeologically outdated? Because the truth is, many of Britain's most famous hill forts weren't built to look down at attackers. They were built to look out over water. Back in the post-glacial period after the last ice age ended, Britain was saturated. Melting glaciers, overflowing aquifers, and rising sea levels created a landscape of wide, slow-moving rivers, expansive wetlands, and inland seas. Today's dry chalk downs and uplands were once the edge of vast floodplains. The high ground we now walk upon was the shoreline, the safe zone, and what we call hill forts were often built right on that shoreline, next to the prehistoric superhighways of the time, rivers. Take Danebury. Now surrounded by farmland, it looks like a classic hilltop fort. But LiDAR data reveals ancient water channels curling around its base, long since dried up or filled with sediment. Its entrance? Not facing inland, but toward where water once flowed. Maiden Castle, Old Oswestry, and many more show the same pattern. No signs of prolonged military occupation, no clear evidence of warfare, but consistent clues that they were ports, gathering places, or riverside hubs. Even their so-called defensive ditches tell another story. Their shape and alignment often match the contours of ancient streambeds. In some cases, radiocarbon dating of wood and charcoal found within these ditches pushes their construction back thousands of years before the traditional Iron Age label. We're not saying these sites weren't sometimes defended, but defence wasn't always the primary purpose. Many were seasonal gathering points, trading posts, or ceremonial spaces, dry enclosures built to remain above water during seasonal floods. And then there's the clincher. Stonea Camp. A so-called hill fort barely a metre above sea level, not high, not dry, not defensive, but perfectly positioned beside ancient waterways, proof that height was never the defining factor. The mistake we've made is treating elevation as meaning isolation. But in a flooded Britain, height didn't mean remoteness. It meant access to trade, travel, and survival. Using professional LiDAR, high-resolution terrain models, and geological mapping, we've reconstructed how rivers once shaped this land. The scale is staggering. Britain's prehistoric waterways were not minor streams. They were deep, navigable corridors for catamarans, canoes, and floating cargo. And what do you need when travelling by water? Mooring points, warehouses, platforms, places to unload, gather, and trade. That's what hill forts were. They weren't forts in the modern military sense. They were infrastructure, strategic riverfront real estate in a world where land travel was unreliable and roads didn't exist. And when you interpret them this way, everything starts to make more sense. Why some face water? Why so few show evidence of conflict? Why many have spring-fed ditches or align with floodlines and raised beaches? So next time you visit a hill fort, don't just look at the ramparts and think defence. Look at the landscape and ask, where did the water used to be? Because chances are the answer will be right here. To explore the maps, LiDAR fly-throughs, and full evidence behind this perspective, visit prehistoric-britain.co.uk. We challenge the myths, follow the data, and dig deeper, literally. Thanks for watching.